Hello everybody, my name is David. Thank you for watching Crazy Narcissist Ex-Girlfriend. Today's video, what happens when you discard the borderline? What happens, right? Because usually the borderline leaves you. But what I say is the difference between a narcissist and a borderline, and I like to use this because we all know a lot about narcissists, but none of us know a lot about borderlines. And they're so different. They look just the same. I say this all the time. But they have different intentions, different motives. It's good to know what they're thinking. Okay, and like I said, it's just for the same reasons. It's good to know the person that abused you. It's good to know what they are. It helps you figure out a lot of questions. It erases a lot of doubt. Okay, but anyways, this should be interesting, I hope, for you guys. So I just like to let you know what happens when you're the one that breaks it off with a borderline. It's nasty. Nasty. You have just played in to the biggest fear of their life. Abandonment. So, like I talked about in the last video about what happens when you discard the narcissist, I kind of told you what a narcissist is. So here's a borderline. Here's kind of the little bit of a difference. Borderlines are born out of pure trauma. Okay, pure trauma. The real ages that matter are between 2 and 4. And if they haven't fixed a lot of these things, a lot of their behaviors, by the age of 7, they usually don't. Borderlines seem to have a little bit of empathy, a little bit of remorse, but don't get that confused and think that, you know, that there's hope. There's one thing I never want to give anyone out there is that there's some kind of hope with an abuser. That there's some kind of hope that they'll change or that things will be the way they were in the beginning or when they were good. Okay? Zero hope. When someone abuses you, the relationship is over. Never go back to that person. No matter what, no matter how much they've changed, no matter if they became the president of the United States of America, I don't care if they, you know, whatever they did, whatever they claim they did, whatever they did do. That's great, but they ain't going to try with you again, okay? All right. So a borderline's born out of trauma. So trauma, what's childhood trauma, right? Imagine, you know, imagine that little infant that you sit down on the floor and you startle them, and they, you know, and you just walk away and leave them there. That's kind of their life. And then you have, you know, that's 2, 3. Then you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where the parent is constantly traumatizing them, scaring the crap out of them. So a borderline grows up, and everything they do, you can bet one of 2 things is the reason why. So constant need for attention, and I mean constant. They cannot be alone. The other one is fear of abandonment. So biggest thing they experienced was that fear of abandonment, that traumatization, and then gone. Okay, so they don't want you to leave them. Everything they do is for attention, and they don't want you to leave them. They are so paranoid that you're going to abandon them. They're so paranoid that typically they will abandon you before you abandon them. And they'll be suspicious all the time. You know, that kind of asking where you've been, who you've been with, who you're talking to. Oh, you like them more than me. You give them more attention than me. You give them more time than you give me. And it's, yes, they want the attention, but do you see? They look so far into every little thing. So you might be spending more time at work late. You know, you have to do this. But in their mind, since you aren't there telling them, I love you, object constancy, they are thinking that you don't love them anymore, you're going to leave them, and they'll abandon you. And the abandonment, when they abandon you, it feels and looks like a narcissist. It's vicious. They could be sitting there making lifelong plans with you and truly looking in your eyes, and they might love you, and they're saying, I love you, I love you. And you're like, oh man, this is great. I've never felt this way. Next day you come home from work and all their stuff is gone. They're gone. That's it. No explanation at all. Abandoned. Abandoned is horrible. Horrible thing to do to somebody. So what happens when you break up with the borderline? So typically they lose their shit. I mean, this is their biggest fear. And if you break it off with a borderline, they kind of sense it coming because they already think you're going to anyways. Whether it's a quiet borderline, doesn't let you know that they're always worried about it. They are always, you're always going to leave me. And don't, you know, little things they do won't let you really feel like, oh, no, they aren't thinking I'm going to leave him. No, they really are. They could be just checking on you throughout the day. Did you get this done? Did you do this? Did you do that? They just want to make sure everything's normal. You're going to be there when they get home. So when you break it off with a borderline, they have major attachment problems, guys. Major. They get attached to you, emotionally attached. And they do the trauma bond, don't they? They talk, borderlines are all about, everybody did this to me. Everybody did this to me. This person hurt me. This person screwed me over. And that's what they identify with. They don't have a sense of self. They identify with their problems. They identify with what people have done wrong to them. So if you break it off with a borderline, they usually will typically go into instant, like self-preservation. And don't leave me. So some of the things they'll do is they start acting, man. These people are actors. So you'll have a grown man, 40 years old, all of a sudden act like a little child. Or maybe they're I'm getting sick. Typical borderline. I need to go to the hospital. I have an angina attack. I'm going to die, my heart. And it's just some anxiety or something, give me attention. And so you'll try to leave them and they'll try to just stop it all, stop everything. Oh, you can't leave me now. Oh, God. Oh, they start flopping on the floor like a fish, Call the ambulance. And now here you are right back helping them again. One of the things that causes CPTSD, you guys, is like a psychological torture, and it's a feeling that you can't leave. You can't get out of it. And it can happen before, it's amazing. Like, I'm a 200-pound, 5'11" grown man. Okay, my ex-girlfriend, the crazy disordered person that I dated years ago, she was, a lot smaller than me and a female. But man, if she didn't want me to leave, she wouldn't let me leave. If I couldn't get rid of her, I couldn't get rid of her. She would make it damn near impossible to get rid of her. These people will make you get rid of your friends and family. They trigger CPTSD in your heads. You start acting weird. You start doing things weird. And the biggest thing they do is they connect with your shame and your guilt. You guys, CPTSD is from your childhood. Everyone has shame and guilt a little bit, but we have a lot. Trauma, what comes with trauma is shame and guilt. When you are in a relationship and they bring up that little trauma again, they start treating you like you did when you were a kid, you instantly fall back into that shame and guilt. Okay, you have shame. You start feeling shameful. It makes it harder to leave these people. They also do things like get rid of people around you. They will do things like make it so you feel like you're throwing them out on their ass if you want to break up with them. You can't just break up with them. Oh no, you're throwing them out. You're ruining their life. You're doing all these things to them that they just can't handle, and you're just a bad person. And they make you take care of them. They make you think about them all the time, worry about them all the time. So they usually will go into this total, oh no, help me, oh God, don't leave me. Another thing they do, real common, huge common with borderlines. You try to break up with them, you try to leave them. If you guys are really emotionally connected and detached, they will threaten suicide. Very, very common. These guys have suicidal thoughts anyways. Now, don't be confused. Just because they don't tell you I want to kill myself doesn't mean that they don't have thoughts of death, okay? That they obsess on that. They do. And we do too with CPTSD, so don't worry. But, so, I'm sorry. I want to break it off. It's over. I'm sorry. If you leave me, I'll kill myself. You guys, that's psychological imprisonment. If you feel like you can't leave somebody abusing you, that's major damage to your head. Major. That causes CPTSD. That triggers your childhood shit big time. Big time. It's really hard to leave a borderline. You feel sorry for them. They make you feel like they just can't do anything without you. But sometimes it's weird, isn't it? They just go out and do whatever the hell they want. Whatever. Other things they do, these guys are the Hoovers, man. These guys are the Hoovers. Now, a narcissist will Hoover you to get you back to hurt you, but a borderline just can't break off that attachment. That's why they jump from relationship to relationship. But as they go, that new person has to know about all the relationships. They have to know about everything that happened. They still have photos. Here's my ex. Here's my ex did that. My ex did this. You get to know them really well. You never even met them. They're ex. And you get to know them real well because you guys talk about them a lot. They bring them up. They compare you to them. They tell you how bad they were, then they tell you how good they were, right? So there's things that borderlines do, and you need to break that attachment off with them. So you have to be it's over. No contact. Don't call me. Leave me alone. I mean, they will try to not finalize anything that you guys are committed in and maybe have a contract in, whether it's a house or a car or a business or bank accounts or children. They'll keep that shit going forever. The only chance you have is when they're on to that next person, you make sure you finalize everything and get it over with while they're getting the attention from someone else, because they will. They'll be like, yeah, I don't want you anymore, blah, 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 until they start getting bored. Borderlines need attention all the time. They don't care who they're with. They don't care if they're married. They don't give a shit. Attention. Give me attention. You're giving a borderline attention. You don't even know. They're getting attention. Trust me, all the time from me. If you know them, you're getting attention from them. It's the only reason they'll know you is they want attention from you. You're giving it to them. So you cut it off with them. Massive injury, massive shame, massive trauma. They already can't regulate emotions. Everything is too intense for them anyways. Their biggest fear is abandonment. They're attached to you and you break it off. Most of us took care of them. Most of us took care of their families. Most of us, everything financially, they ruin everything. You did everything for these guys and now you're done with them and they know gravy train is over, off. You're done. They're scared to death. They start having emotions, don't know what to do. They go into rage. They'll attack you. Typical borderline. If you're really close to a borderline and you want to leave them, they come attack you, don't they? They'll slip into goddamn psychosis, not even know what the hell's going on, not remember anything. They're scary, nasty. Break off that attachment, guys. Don't keep talking to them. Don't lead them on. Don't give them hope. And get rid of hope yourself. The only thing you can do is leave a borderline. And that's the only thing they're trying to get you to not do. They want you to stay on that hamster wheel in their head and keep going and going and going. Don't get off. Because that's what keeps me going. That's all I want. Me, 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 me. Oh, no me anymore? Right? So both of them, narcissists and borderlines, a lot of it is shame, you guys. Shame, shame, shame. You make them feel like the shameful little piece of crap that they are, and they cannot do it. We can do it. We can make mistakes. We can deal with our shame. We can deal with things. And we can apologize and we can change. They can't, guys. They can't. They own nothing. They blame you for everything. So typical, even if a borderline abandons you, they tell everybody else you abandoned them. Why? Attention. Poor me. Poor me, poor me, poor me. Aw, little victim. Poor little borderline that everybody hurt. They've done nothing to anybody. I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, go down below and ask me. I'll answer them. I hope you guys kind of realize how important it is to stay away from these people more than anything, okay? All right. Thank you very much. Love yourself first, guys. I will see you again. Bye-bye. Oh, share this if you can. Social media, Facebook, groups, anything like that. Get this information out there. It helps people. Just like it helps you, it helps other people, okay? Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Danny Dog Productions.